Hello and welcome to CEO Insights. I'm Marilyn de Guzman with Investing News Network. We are at PDAC in Toronto and we're sitting down with Lachlan Reynolds, Managing Director of Monger Resources, to talk about the company's transition to rare earths and niobium. Welcome, Lachlan.
Thank you very much. It's great to be back at PDAC.
Good to have you. So let's start off with just an overview of your company and bring us up to date on your priority projects right now.
Sure. So Mount Monger has been working for the last couple of years on a group of projects in Western Australia. Over that time, we have been advancing a rare earth project in WA. It's of the clay-hosted style, and we're hopeful of discovering quite a major district-scale mineralised system there. But more recently, very recently, we have acquired an option over a carbonatite-hosted rare earth and niobium project in Quebec, and hence my presence here at the convention. And we're very excited about this new project. It's something that we think has an excellent potential for discovery of a new resource, and we're looking forward to getting underway with our exploration program there as soon as the spring thaw is underway.
So you started off as a gold company and then you've pivoted to rare earths and niobium. So could you tell us the strategy behind that? What opportunities are you seeing?
Yes, so our investment into the rare earth sector is a conscious decision. It's a strategic decision for the company. We think that we do have some quality gold assets, but not getting a great deal of traction in the market for those projects at the moment. We see the rare earths and niobium as being a really good sector to be in, particularly with the current global energy transition. We see a long-term future in terms of demand and price for those commodities, and so we're very keen to be part of that, and indeed we're getting some support from the investment community for doing that.
Right, so you have, you've mentioned that you're acquiring a property in Quebec, so you're going to be there, and then so the U.S. Canadian government, they're sort of in this race to develop, their domestic supply chains for rare earths and other critical minerals, right?
Yes.
So how have those programs translated in the exploration and mining sectors?
Yes, we're seeing this in Australia as well, is that there is this new support for particularly the suite of critical metals. It's translating into both direct funding, particularly for development projects to see them advanced more quickly. We're seeing it in terms of reduced red tape as far as permitting and allowing companies to get on with the job. I guess in many ways it also, for the exploration sector, it's a very strong signal to us that the governments are keen to see these minerals developed, and it gives us confidence that we can be expending our exploration budgets on those projects in a way that will add value to the company.
Do you think these measures are enough because these are ambitious goals, to have that domestic supply chain of these critical minerals?
Yeah, time will tell. There are a few other factors that play into that question. For instance, environmental conditions around the development of projects. Of course, it takes a long time to get from an exploration stage through development and finally into production. So there is a strong onus on the industry to step up and make these new discoveries. But at the same time, we have to see a longer term future for all those commodities. So ultimately it comes back to the market, and the market for those metals continuing strongly.
Right. And if you're speaking to an investor right now who's looking at rare earths, trying to educate themselves about this mineral, what do you tell them, or why should they be looking at this?
Sure. Well, first of all, I reassure them that it's a really complicated sector. We're dealing with a package of a number of metals. Every deposit is different. Every deposit often has very different processing and economic characteristics. So it is hard to compare project to project. What I'm telling people is that we have invested into the style of rare earth deposit that is well understood. There's a long history of development of those projects, and there's a very good background in terms of the metallurgical processing. So that, along with the fact that we have such excellent geological potential and we have excellent access, And we have partners who are cooperating with us on the project to provide us with a lot of technical expertise. That gives us a real step up as far as our competition, and therefore I'm hopeful that investors will reward us for that.
Right. So as an explorer, is there any other measures you want to see? Are there things, to clear the way so that you'll have, because it does start with exploration, right? In this whole global electrification efforts and decarbonization. It starts with exploration. So what other things would you like to see?
Well, I think that governments are doing what they can, short of providing grants to companies to give them extra money. But I think that probably the other side is that a lot of R&D could be done to assist companies. At the moment, I think the biggest issue is that no one really understands often what an economic rare earth deposit looks like, and I think there could be a lot more work being put into that, so that both government needs to understand and ultimately the public also. I think there has been certainly some attention towards educating the public about the importance of these minerals to the overall energy transition. That really has to continue strongly.
Right.
And ultimately it's support all the way through the chain, from exploration to mining and ultimately to processing and manufacturing.
Right. So I have to ask you, your thoughts. Tesla recently came out with a statement that their next generation EV will not feature or will not have rare earths. In your view, how does that impact, or does it even impact, the whole trajectory of the market?
Yeah, I'm no expert as far as that whole end user side. Clearly, it's a signal that particularly the pricing around rare earths is an issue. That is something that will probably ease as more supply comes into the market. In terms of electric vehicles in particular, there is a trade-off. If you take rare earths out of the manufacturing, something else has to go in. And ultimately, we know that the rare earths are, in terms of their physics, they make the best permanent magnets. So if you substitute them, you end up with a less effective battery, a less effective magnet, and ultimately a less efficient motor. So I foresee that rare earths will continue to have a very important role in those high-tech applications. And obviously we see that trend continuing because of the current support for these elements in the global energy transition.
Right. So what does 2023 look like for the company? 2023
will be busy for us. With the acquisition of the project here in Canada, there will be a concerted campaign of drilling and an evaluation of that project. We're very hopeful that we can actually announce a discovery later in the year. We will roll into a comprehensive metallurgical program on that project. We'll also be busy in Australia on a number of our key projects there because we have the funding available to us to be able to continue progressing on both sides of the world. The focus, as we've discussed, will be very much on rare earths. And we're very hopeful of being able to provide shareholders with a strong news flow of good results.
Okay, sounds great, and we'll look forward to hearing more news about all these things coming from your company. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. And thank you for watching. Join us again next time for another engaging conversation on CEO Insights.